life insurance companies if you have increased your coverage significantly within 2 years and you die, that automatically will get investigated.
Now, you went to the Philippines, didn't you?
Yes.
Not because you were thinking of faking your death there and finding a body?
I knew I wanted to go to the Philippines because, like I said, it's one of these places that had come up again and again in my research where they do have a very robust infrastructure to carry out these frauds. I've been very intrigued, and I worked with some great guys there who brought me around and who helped me acquire my death certificate there.
Would it be harder to fake your death now than in the past? Because as we discovered when we open up our computers, there are online retailers who seem to know almost everything about our lives, send us ads for things that we've been thinking about buying without ever telling anyone. It's hard to just disappear without a trace.
That's exactly right. And because of that constant surveillance and, whether it's, advertisers or the NSA or just, checking into places on Facebook, it really does seem that much more impossible. And that's why I really wanted to look into this topic so much more. What I found to answer the kind of technology question is that the reason why most people get caught across time, from historical cases I looked at going back to the 1700s, it's really because people have a very hard time cutting ties with loved ones, with family, and they always try to reach out. And now there's just that many more ways to do it. So what I found is that it's really more of a human nature problem, and the technology today just enables us more to make those connections.
And you made a list of lessons about faking your death in case people are considering seriously. Don't come back, not for your wife, not for your girlfriend, not for your kids. If you fake your death, don't do it at sea. Go for a hike at sea, because unless a body washes up, eventually it gets very suspicious.
Yeah, I think that the kind of layman's idea that we have about if you were to fake your own death, everyone's go-to is stage a drowning, fall off a boat in the middle of the ocean, then there's no body, no problem. Actually, most bodies do end up being recovered eventually. If not in a day, 2 days, they usually do in a week, and sometimes in a week or so. And sometimes, if there's one case, a man named Seth Ferranti, he staged his death because he was facing jail time for drug trafficking, and he staged his death, making it look like he plunged into a reservoir, and they actually dragged it looking for the body, and as you can imagine, none ever turned up. So water accidents actually raise red flags in the eyes of law enforcement.
My guest is Elizabeth Greenwood. Her book, Playing Dead, A Journey Through the World of Death Fraud. Another story you tell is of a man named Sam Israel.
Mm-hmm.
He also was trying to avoid going to jail?
That's right. So in 2008, Sam Israel, he was the head of the Bayou Hedge Fund, and he had gotten involved in a pretty big, what he saw as a conspiracy, what law enforcement saw as a Ponzi scheme, and he absconded with $500 million of investor money. So he was trying to avoid jail time. There's actually a great book written just about Sam called Octopus by P. Lawson, if people are interested in learning more about Sam. The way he staged his death is that he made it appear as if he committed suicide by jumping off the Bear Mountain Bridge up by West Point. He left a note on the windshield of his car, "Suicide is painless," written in pollen. But he actually jumped off the bridge. The amazing thing is that he was able to catch himself in construction nets that were hanging below. And hand over hand, he crawled out of this net and made it to the embankment on the river and scrambled up and made his getaway in an RV where he lived for a few weeks. He saw himself on America's Most Wanted while he was living out of this RV. And he eventually turned himself in to a police station not much longer after that.
And Frank Ahern, who we mentioned earlier, got involved in this case. He's the co-author of a book I said earlier, How to Disappear. Actually, I love the subtitle. Erase Your Digital Footprint, Leave False Trails, and Vanish Without a Trace. That book was published after it was published, it hit the New York Times nonfiction bestseller list years later, and it sold over 150 copies a week. Doesn't that suggest that a lot of people are thinking of trying to start over?
I think so, and I think, maybe like me, even if people aren't actively, pursuing it and really laying down the groundwork to live a second life, I think that the idea is very intriguing, and it provides a lot of